Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Army of Snarkness. My name, of course, is Antoine the Great, and I've been joined by my lovely co-host, well, at least one of them. The other one is off in Russia, I think. He wanted some pierogies.
No, I think he wanted someone who had dined on pierogies.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's it. But I've been joined by one of my lovely co-hosts. If you thought Death rode a white horse, you'd be wrong. She actually drives a Shelby and plays one mean guitar solo. I give you the last ride of the apocalypse, Death. How's it going, Sarah?
Hello, Anton. Hello, everyone. Do we really have to do this tonight?
Yes. Why?
Well, you know that it's Ichtar's birthday, right? As sort of a birthday present, can't we skip this?
No. It's a show. It's
no,
what we do.
I know that. I mean, what we have in plan. Can't we skip this?
Oh, you don't want the... Yeah, you don't want the cringe stuff.
No. I mean, it's her birthday.
It is the birthday. Yeah.
So we should skip this.
No.
Why not?
Because.
But you have to read more Lena Dunham.
Yes, I know I have to read more Lena Dunham.
And you make me stick around and listen to you read that trash.
I do. What's wrong with that?
It does not encourage me to say yes to date number 2.
You've already said yes to date number 2.
Date number 3, then. Whatever. It is not encouraging it.
Of course it is.
How is it encouraging it?
Because you have fun.
Listening to Lena Dunham.
No, listening to me go all nuts about it.
Alright, I really can't argue that.
No, you can't. So, let's see who we have in the chat with us already. They're very talkative. Moxley's here. Wren is here. Cinder Shadow. Let's see, Ben C. Of course, Ben C. is here. Anti-Hero Broadcast is here. How's it going, Anti? Draconath is here. Sparky. Tom Leach.
Wren's here.
Fermion.
Wren, yes, she did. She already broke into the peanut butter patty one.
Fermion is here. We also have Mitzi, Czar, Damn Alien. Hello, everyone. Yes, she enjoyed the cookies. I haven't had any yet.
She doesn't want to share with you.
No, she hasn't.
She's not going to.
I said Draconath. Make some money off your ass tonight, anti-hero. I will do my best. I'll do my best. I am...
My question is, how are we supposed to make money off of your ass if you're not here?
That's a
By the way, have you found anything edible in Russia yet?
Any one edible, is what you mean?
Well, that depends on if they have enough brain to count as a person.
It's not wrong.
I'm usually not.
Why is this not showing up? Don't like that. People like seeing themselves in the chat.
Do they? Are you sure?
Yes. Let's change the background colour. Oh, apparently I broke it. I don't know why. It shows up on all the other shows. It just doesn't show up on this one. So...
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I even deleted it and reloaded up a new one.
Are you pushing buttons again?
I always push buttons.
One of these days you're going to get in serious trouble with those buttons.
Did I
Unfortunately, you're going to drag me along with you.
No, I didn't try threatening it. Alright, how many people do we have here? We got 14 people watching. Well, hello all 14 of you beautiful people. Go ahead and hit that like button. Share us around. Let people know that we're here. We have some wonderful things to read for you tonight. Don't we,
Note
Sarah?
his sarcasm.
Come on, it's not that bad.
It is Lena Dunham.
Yeah, but yours is at least better.
Mine is, I believe, intentionally terrible. She's just ignorantly terrible.
How's it going, Twisted Skipster? Well, we did find out one thing comparatively from this week to last week.
And what did we find out?
We found out that Tess Holliday actually has, better structure in her books than Lena Dunham.
That's pathetic.
It is. Well,
On many levels.
Mitzi's running away already. You scared her away.
Well, if she doesn't stay out of my room, I'm going to do more than just scare her away. You'll be looking for someone else to donate $1 every month to get you purring.
Fermion asks if being more literate than Lena Dunham is an accomplishment. Well, if the whales are doing it... Oh, Wren says Tess is also boring as fuck. So at least Lena Dunham is somewhat entertaining.
I disagree.
But how was your week, Sarah? How have you been?
Well, I would be fine if not for a little dinosaur keeps sneaking into my room. Don't know what her obsession is with my room, but it's starting to become creepy.
You're popular.
No, she's a stalker.
That's why you're popular.
I could live without that type of popularity, thank you.
Well, should we get this over and done with?
Yes.
You sure?
The sooner you get started, the sooner I get to do something productive with my time.
Oh, the damn alien is wondering if she's maybe planting cameras in your room.
No, I sweep them after every time she's in there.
Oh, that's right. We were in the middle of a chapter. Ugh. What was the title of this stupid chapter?
I don't know, but it was long-winded.
Oh, this is supposed to be fun, making most of your education.
Yes, the difference is, Wren, is that you are both very, from what I've been told, curvy and sexually attractive. Why would they argue it? She's just a little dinosaur, and I'm far from curvy.
I don't know. I've gotten my hands on your abs. They're pretty curvy.
Those are muscles, not the type of curves I was talking about.
Right. I like your curves.
I would hope so.
Have I worked out the $1 per hour for reading this so far? No, I have not. But I know I did not get paid enough for it. Oh, I remember. The last time we stopped, she was being groomed by one of her teachers. So, I guess we're going to move on from there. So, I switched...
Draconath donated $10 and says, "Is 10 enough to save us from the boon?"
I think he meant book. Unfortunately, no, it is not. So, I switched schools in 7th grade to an institution whose values aligned with my own. And for 6 years, school was as okay as it would ever be. I wrote poems, sprawling epics with curse words, and casual mentions of suicide that didn't get me sent to the school psychologist. I'm not sure there was a school psychologist.
If they had, they would have recommended she be locked up for a very long time, and we would not be listening to this drivel.
That's very true. We put on plays, some of them about lesbians or cat breeders, or both. Lesbians and cat breeders do tend to be kind of the same thing.
Not always. Hello, Anubis.
How's it going, Anubis? No, there's no such thing as casual mentions of lesbians. Our teachers engaged us in lively debate, and were willing to say, "I don't know," when they didn't know. I was allowed to circulate literature about veganism in the stairwell. A teacher and I had misunderstanding, and we talked it out. It didn't feel inappropriate. It felt real. I was not a perfect student. Far from it. I was over-medicated and exhausted, wearing pajamas and a vintage hat with a veil. I struggled to stay awake in art history class. I had an authority problem. But I was living in a world where we were understood and honoured for what we had to offer. I was allowed to take my puppy to gym class. My best friend played a didgeridoo he bought off the internet. I was the best case scenario for worst case problem. The fact that the government says we have to go to school, and when it was finally time to leave, I wasn't ready. That whole paragraph.
You're doing this to yourself.
I'm not. No, I was paid to do it, and that's why it's happening. Like, each sentence was just stunted. Like, it wasn't. There's.
Like her emotional maturity.
Eh. I bounded into Oberlin, thrilled to have been accepted and ready to learn with a capital L. I was keen on becoming a creative writing all-star and had prepared a portfolio of my poems and short stories for the head of the department. Dressed in bookish cords, I waited outside her door during office hours to discuss it with her. "Well," she said, "you clearly write a lot." "Thank you, I do," I told her. "Every day." Chipper as if she'd given me a massive compliment and not just stated a fact. At least she's self-aware to that point. There are some interesting moments, but you don't have a particular facility for any genre. The poems feel like stories. The stories feel like plays. I nodded, like, "Great point. Yes, I also write plays." "And the story," she said, "about the fake Underground Railroad. That just feels like satire, like something from The Onion. It's a bit broad, obvious." All I could muster was a tiny, "But it really happened to me." She nodded, clearly unimpressed. She let me in, but with reservations, and my rage from this tiny encounter fueled me, and I became the most combative girl in every writer's workshop. The one who's crossed out sentences dramatically in front of the writer of the piece. The one who posited over the ever-so-helpful, "What if all of this is bullshit?" I had begged my way in, and now I wanted out. But first I wanted everyone to realize what they were doing to us, these teachers, draining us of our perspective, teaching us to write like the poets they admired, or, even worse, like them. There were only 3 teachers I liked. One because he seemed to have other interests, another because he smoked and cursed, and the third because his ex-wife wrote a memoir about him cheating on her with a French teacher that sold fairly well. He was now with another different French teacher and wore a diamond earring, appearing unfazed. My parents have authority problems. We're going back to 2nd grade now. There's nothing... We go from Oberlin to 2nd grade. There's nothing in the middle. In 2nd grade, my mother was sent home from school trying to organize a protest in which every girl defied the dress code and wore pants. She found her teachers not only boring but repulsive, especially the ones who were trying to embrace the counterculture. They couldn't trick her with their long center-parted hair, their amber beads, their use of the word vibe. Even now, a part-time teacher herself, she's horrified. She is horrified by the idea of anyone telling her what to think or do. She is also opposed to socializing with her students, mortified that anyone would think she was pulling the cool teacher move. There is nothing more disgusting than being the oldest lady at the party, she likes to say. Lena Dunham unfortunately knows about this all too well.
And we all wish she would just hurry up and kick the bucket.
You're not wrong. My father, meanwhile, began his academic career as the shining star of the Southbury, Connecticut public school system. Class president, book club leader, smiling bucktooth and a necktie on the Student of the Month placard. But, like all men in his family, he was eventually shipped off to boarding school, and by the time he got to Andover, he was 15, shaggy-haired and angry, refusing to attend chapel or even class. When I read Catcher in the Rye, it was instantly familiar, like an extension of the stories my father would tell on a long car ride. My father's journey from emblem of academic excellence to deadbeat burnout was a classic wow, he was a burnout at 15. That's actually impressive.
Lena was born.
Was a classic narrative, but a potent one. I felt pride imagining the moment he realized it was all bullshit. Man, and at his bravery for refusing to be carried along with the current. One time he cut class and walked into the woods and out onto the surface of an icy pond, only to fall through into the freezing water. After a terrifying struggle, he caught hold of the ice and pulled himself out and ran, soaking, back to the safety of his dormitory, like the scared little bitch he was. I know it's more painful. I'm sorry, guys. Blame Ben, see?
How much more of this book do we have?
You know, we're only on page 172. Feels like we've been out of, it looks like... I don't know if this is 261.
Well, we're less than 100 pages left.
Yeah. But his life had flashed before his eyes. He could have died. After all, nobody knew where he was. Yeah, I could have taken the money and ran, Ben, and then you wouldn't be here, and everyone would think I was a thief. Not a thief.
You steal from the IDL all the time.
Yeah, but I don't steal from the henchmen.
Point.
Alright, now we're back to talking about Lena. I went through brief phases of being a good student. Showing up early to my seminar with a mug of tea. Taking cogent notes with a mechanical pencil. Carrying my books close to my chest like a girl in a movie about Radcliffe. I loved doing it right, the ease of it, the tidiness of my objectives, which was simply to understand and express that understanding. No, at least it's not 50 Shades. 50 Shades is next.
You're on your own. I'm not going to sit through while you read that trash.
Yes, you are.
Not after you've inflicted this on me.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Me.
Because we need you and your cringe to make the rest of us feel better.
I don't care.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't. You vastly underestimate my concern for your well-being. Or overestimate, I believe is the correct word. It's already numbing my brain, and we've just gotten started tonight.
We have. But inevitably. I could read Twilight. Yeah, you want me to read Twilight instead? I can do that.
You'll be single.
Touché. But inevitably it faded. A month into the semester, I would start showing up 20 minutes late to class again, with a bag of cheese doodles and a cup of cold grits. That's disgusting. Having left my notebook at home, the rewards weren't enough to keep me on task, and life got in the way. My mind wandered to the future, post-college, when I'd create my own schedule that served my need to eat a rich snack every 5 to 15 minutes, and she wonders why she's as heavy as she is.
I don't think she wonders. I think she understands.
Well, let's hope so. As for the disappointment written across the teacher's face, I couldn't and wouldn't care. I was 15 minutes late to graduation. My mother forgot the peach silk dress I planned to wear, and so I bought a vintage sari and piled my hair atop my head and trooped out to the arch in the middle of Tappan Square and waited for the music to start. My boyfriend, already graduated, lay out on the lawn. My father wondered why he had worn a suit. We were given 2 options: walk around Tappan Square Arch if you don't support the imperialist missionaries who installed it, or walk through it if you don't know, don't care. If you don't support the imperialist missionaries who installed it. All right.
I'm sure there's a reference there that I'm not understanding.
The people who created the Tappan Square Arch apparently were imperialist missionaries? They're colonizers! That's what she meant to say before the word colonizer became part of the vernacular. Ben, I still don't know what the fuck it's about. Mitzi is heading towards the bedrooms again, just to let you know.
If she gets into my room again, she's going to be missing her wings.
I can't remember which option I chose, only that I couldn't believe I had never noticed the pregnant oboist in line in front of me. As we strode onto the lawn, I nodded at the teachers, dressed to the nines in their Hogwarts garb from the 10th, 13th, 15th year in a row. Later, motherfuckers. I go back to Oberlin in the dead of winter to give a convocation speech in Finley Chapel, the largest and most historic of campus structures. In a subconscious nod to my college experience, I forget to pack both tights and underwear and have to spend the weekend going commando in a wool skirt and knee socks. That is a perfect image for all you men in the chat right now. Lena Dunham wearing nothing underneath her wool skirt except knee socks.
Ugh.
I'm toured around the school like I'm a stranger by a girl who didn't even go there. We stop at a glossy new cafe for tea and scones. She asks if I want a tour of the dormitories. No, I just want to wander around alone and maybe cry. Have you noticed she does a lot of crying?
Yes, it seems to be her hobby.
That it's been 6 years since I graduated from college seems impossible. Older folks laugh at my naivete, saying that 6 years is nothing in the scheme of life. But now I've been gone longer than I was there. Soon, my life as a student will be as far behind me as summer camp. Because that's what happens when you play adult. I head down to the basement of Burton Hall, where they've assembled a question and answer session, with student journalists sitting in a messy half-circle around me. I make sure to keep my legs crossed, as to avoid the headline, "Returning alum flashes vagina." Don't worry, no one would be looking. Most of them ask sweet, neutral questions. What do you think is the most beautiful spot in Oberlin? If you could take one class again, which would it be? Others, the ones she really doesn't want to answer, have sharper edge and seem to be looking for the big scoop. How does it feel to be a line item in so many people's narratives of privilege and oppression?
How does it feel?
Well, she didn't have a good answer. I look around for sympathetic faces before muttering, "There are some worse guys than me." So, if you can't actually answer the bullshit that you like to spew, push it off onto other people.
Goodbye, anti-hero.
See you later, anti-hero. One student warns me that there is a protest planned outside my lecture tonight, though she can't seem to explain exactly what it's about. It reminds me of the time I joined a student walkout, got up and left history class, hoping all the way that someone would tell me where we were going and why. That night, on the stage of Finley Chapel, I felt adrenalized? And
I don't think either of those are words.
No, they're not. And basically, she felt adrenalized and tyro.
And tyro?
Yeah, his last name is incoherent. Well, she's felt tyro. Did you know that she felt tyro? Does Tyro know that she got felt up by Lena Dunham?
Lo-Fi's going to be pissed.
Yeah, that's probably something. That's probably something we should let her know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have something to prove and no drive to do it. I've braided my hair and I can feel it sliding, slowly but surely, down my neck in wet clumps. Which means she didn't braid her hair very well. She doesn't do anything very well, does she? She just kind of meh, and then it's done.
It is a wet lump. What do you expect?
You got a point. A favourite professor asks me thoughtful questions, and I answer that as best I can, with sound bites that have worked in the past. I feel like I have to bring up some of the controversy surrounding your work, he says. Okay, bring it up. I'm trying to speak from a place of calm and strength, but it comes out more like a shriek. Bring it up and tell those protesters to come in, and we will talk like adults, not just freaks with signs. She's calling her own type of people freaks with signs. That should tell you something.
Hypocrisy is real with her.
We will talk to each other and just work it out. Because at the end of the day, we're all pissed about the same thing, you know? Having to be in school. No, Lena. No, Lena. That's not what they're pissed about. They're pissed that you're a horrible human being and that you still think that you have a public drive to try and, I don't know, educate people. He looks at me blankly. The audience shifts with discomfort or confusion, or both. In an instant it becomes clear to me that there are no protesters. Probably never were. If they planned something, they all bailed. There's just me. Them. Us. The next morning I leave at 8 a.m. Driving through town in the snow, I see my memories plainly. There I am in my long sleeping bag coat, shuffling to class 20 minutes late on Tuesday morning. There I am in what used to be the video store, piling my arms high with VHSs. There I am in the diner, ordering not one but 2 egg sandwiches. There I am in the gym, riding an exercycle from the early 80s and reading a book called Bosnian Rape.
Because that's what you want to work out to.
Horrible? Yeah. It's not the choice of book I would read.
What would you read?
I wouldn't read it at all if I'm working out. You listen to music. That's what you do.
Agreed.
And there I am, drunk on a spring night, yanking my tampon out and hurling it into a bush outside the church.
Ew.
So, I thought she could have gone the entire time without bringing that up.
I don't know how we needed to know any of that.
Not the choice of... Yeah, damn alien. Not the choice of book I would read, says the one reading Lena Dunham.
Note that this is not by choice, damn alien.
There I am, falling in love by the bike rack. There I am, slowly realizing my bike has gone missing from that same rack, stolen while I was sleeping. There I am, calling my father from the steps of the art museum. There I am, half listening to a professor when she tells me I need to start attending class more regularly. And I'm there, too, dragging a torn sofa into the black box theatre with my set designer.
What?
Streamlabs just yelled at the rich tree. That's pretty funny.
Alright.
I don't want it. Now it's being bossy. Why are you being bossy?
Obviously you need to do something because someone has posted a link that's not appropriate. Sorry, Rich Tree. You ask first before you post links here.
Then I guess it's just for me to see. That's very interesting.
No, I saw it too.
There's nothing I can do to switch that.
Change it, Streamlabs to being a moderator?
I don't want to make Streamlabs a moderator.
Go back to reading your Cringe.
Yeah. If I had known how much I would miss these sensations, I might have experienced them differently. Recognized their shabby glamour. Respected the ticking clock that defined this entire existence. You know, she tries to sound deep. She tries to sound like she has some form of perspective. But she just comes off sounding pretentious. Are you eating while we're doing this?
No.
Says the woman who has things in her mouth.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you really eating on stream?
I had a cracker. Oh my god. I needed something to settle my stomach after listening to this crap.
I would have put aside my resentment, dropping my defenses. I might have a basic understanding of European history or economics. More abstractly, I might feel I had truly been somewhere, open and porous and hungry to learn. And she's open and porous to something. Are you there, Sarah?
Yes.
Just checking. They're asking you questions.
It's a cracker. Specifically, it's a peanut butter Ritz Bits. Ishtar had them on her desk.
Gotcha.
I stole them from her desk. Do you want one?
No, thank you.
It's good.
I'm sure it is, but I do not want one.
What do you like?
Because being a student was an enviable identity, and one I can only reclaim by attending community college late in life for a bookmaking class or something. I've always had a talent for recognizing when I am in a moment worth being nostalgic for. When I was little, my mother would come home from a party, her hair cool from the wind, her perfume almost gone, and her lips a faded red, and she would coo at me, "You're still awake? Hi!" And then I'd think of how beautiful she was and how I always wanted to remember her stepping out of the elevator in her pea green wool coat. 39 years old, just like that. 16, laying on the dock at night with my camp boyfriend, taking tiny sips from a bottle of vodka. But school was so essentially repulsive to me, so characterized by a desire to be done. That's part of why it hurts so bad to see it again. I didn't drink in the essence of the classroom. I didn't take legible notes or dance all night. I thought I would marry my boyfriend and grow old and sick of him. I thought I would keep my friends and we'd make different new memories. None of that happened. Better things happened. Then why am I so sad?
Because you're a sad, pathetic person.
Mitzi has curled up under a bed.
Has she now?
That's what she says.
We will be having dinosaur wings tonight for dinner.
Dinosaur wings? That sounds pretty tasty. God, it's another long one. Do you want to read yours? Or do you want me to do this first?
Are we going to go back to yours after I finish mine?
Probably. It says little leather gloves, the joy of wasting time.
No. I will read mine as a break.
Alright, we will have a palate cleanser then. How's that?
Well, you will be delighted to hear that it's another one by that delightful Comics Nix. This one featuring the Powerpuff Girls.
What?
Yes. Do you want to hear the synopsis, or do you want me to just jump right in?
What? This Comic Nix person does understand that the Powerpuff Girls are children, right?
Well, according to the blurb, Professor Utonium is dead, and the Powerpuff Girls have fallen into an abyss where their souls are being consumed. Only by fighting against their inner demons will they be able to overcome the tragedy in her lives.
Sure.
It's called Naked Heart in the Soul of the Sun.
Sure, let's read about the Powerpuff Girls getting railed by someone.
Oh, this is already
Is it that bad? You haven't even started reading yet.
I know. Blossom was flying in the air, smelling the marmalade sky of their Townville's skies. Her sisters were flying along her over the city, shoving maelstrom pleasant kisses to pitifully sad birds. Blossom uttered the blondie grielled bumbles. What is it, dear pleasantry, sister? Sister as in S-I-S-T-A.
Sister.
Yes. Oh, I have constipation. Oh, sister, come to my bosom, I'll cover you with love. And Blubbles goes and hugs the little red-headed horny girl. Buttercup wasn't comfortable with that situation. She don't likes transference of love to the hearts of unhappy couples. She is a lonely. She has a dark heart of destruction, and it's doomed to plummet down to the skies of unholy lactation.
What?
That is actually what it says. I'm not joking.
Down to the skies of the unholy lactation?
Yes.
What? No?
We've already escaped, we've already chased Sparky off.
Yeah, but apparently, Wren has grabbed him and is not letting him leave.
Good. As the girls flew in the heavens, Blossom hugged, H-U-U-G-E-D, the bubbles, and they got wet. Buttercup, them couldn't have it any more. She shouts, "Nopes, you can't touch yourself without my self-approval condolences." And she punches heavily in the face Booble to the air, who flies like the lightning stairs of Andromeda to the outer space, screaming like a raped middle-aged Wapanese kangaroo.
Wapanese? Is that a thing?
W-A-P-A-N-E-S-E.
Alright. Wapanese.
God man it, Buggercup. You took my love away from my bully breasts and sent her astray to the final doom of the vacuum-filled innocent space. And Buttercup felt the pain that rages in the hearts of warriors, of milk-dressed Amazons. That cannot be right. She must do something, some thnigs. It's her sister, the only pilgrim that lasts from Dr. Utonium promised utopia. After the Professor Utonium got dead, the girls went a downhill slope of selfish behavior and utterly destructive massacres.
Selfish behavior?
Two words.
They went and fished by themselves.
Apparently. That unfair to hooked Blossom when her father death hisself. Hisself, Hisself. Mojo was his antagonist, the one that took his life, without a unique blood of mercy in his bones. Utonium last words to his daughters was, "My dears, please never touch other girls' vaginal liquids. You can get Ebola."
What? What? Wait.
I'm not kidding, that's what it says.
Read that again.
"My dears, please never touch others' girls' vaginal liquids. You can get Ebola." And he died. This event was so traumatic to Blossom that she killed Mojo Jojo with her teeth, and he exploded in 1,000 of Banana's shells. All got worse. Buttercup turned emo and cut her waists. Bubbles got genital herpes through contact with deceased roadkill pussies. And Blossom, oh Blossom, she never recovered from that disgrace. But she maintained a more or less faithful position to her ideals. But she turned into an empty shield of what she was.
Kaduntress has pointed out that it's Ebola-laced copulence.
Oh dear God.
It's why two women can't get together and rule the world. It gives them Ebola.
Cinder Shadow, putting in the random words is why I believe that this is a troll. Somebody who's just very good at making horrible things for the humor of it.
You're not wrong.
Buttercup is now thinking about what to do when Blossom gave idea. "Buttercup, we must go after her." And Buttercup agree. It's a good plan. So they follow Booble's blue trail of love to the outer space. They went fast, passing through Jupiter, Mars, Venus, and then Saturn, when the trail was not more presence. Buttercup looked the next near planet Mercurio and said, "Blossom, she could have fallen on that one."
I agree with Fabian. He says, "You know, I like living on this planet. Can we kick whoever wrote this off?" We can try. You got to find them first.
"Blossom, she could have fallen on that one." "No, it is not possible," and Buttercup got sad. "It was cold there, because it was far from the sun." This person does not know how the solar system works.
Well, they're not talking about Mercury. They're talking about Mercurio. It's a completely different planet.
Where is that?
Nowhere in this solar system.
Oh God, I don't want to read this next sentence.
Too late.
"It was cold there because it was far from the sun. Sheets of ice were forming on her clothes and frosting the leaking milk from lactating titties."
What? Read that again.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. I don't think I heard you correctly.
"Sheets of ice were forming on her clothes and frosting the leaking milk from lactating titties." I hate myself.
Continue on.
Buttercup said Balsam, "I know where Boobles went." Went is spelled W-H-E-N-T. "Yeah, where?" "To the future." "How?" "When you punched her, she flew to the space. She then acquired speed passing on the tangent of the planets, acquiring acceleration from the gravitation speed. That entire sentence was properly spelled! This caused her to go over the speed of light, and she transported to future.
So what you're saying is she got punched so hard that she broke the space-time continuum.
Basically. Oh no, what have I done? And Buttercup emo-suicidal tendencies took over her platinum soul, suffocating her new will to alive one more day. She goes sad and picked a screwdriver from out of nowhere in space, and then punctured her belly with it, perforating the stomach, the kidneys, and the bowels, which, by the way, bowels is all in capitals, with 3 exclamation points.
Wait, she committed seppuku?
Apparently. With a screwdriver. Blood sprayed on the space, and tears flowed from her saponaceous, bitter eyes. I think saponaceous is also spelled correctly. What the fuck is saponaceous?
I am going to find out.
Please do.
How is it spelled?
Saponaceous.
Saponaceous. It is spelt correctly. It's of like or containing soap. Soapy.
Her soapy eyes.
Saponaceous. Yes.
Her soapy bitter eyes.
Yes. Sparky says, so, Antoine, you know that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they open the Ark and all of them die? This fanfic is that Ark. Not wrong. And then Wren says, I know that I took painkillers tonight, but am I really hearing this?
Yes, you are, Wren. My sister knows, cried Loud Blossom, who got totally terrified by that unravel of self-torment. Buttercup, I will no let you die. And Blossom caught Buttercup with her shoulders and flew towards the sun. They went their direction, and it got heater and heater. The fireballs from King Star Sun got throwed at the grills, but Blossom avoided. Sahi got near and near, and their clothes started to burn. Fire and lust emerged from their skins as the foreskin of Sun got a boner. Sun looked to their eye and said,
Wait. So they got closer and closer to the sun.
yes.
They got closer and closer to the sun. It burned off their clothes,
Yes.
heated up their lust, and now suddenly the sun has a boner.
The sun looked to their eye and said, Yoi shall not pass. And the bruised Buttercup cried as their magnificentus, MAGNIFICANTIFOUS, Solar Star got angry at them. But Blossom is a hard one, so she fights against the supernova waves of high-level X-ray lust radiation.
Lust radiation.
Yes,
I need to look into this.
clearly. If you try to use it on me, I will kill your libido. Nope, girls, you will die, cries the sun with a thunderous voice of castrated deer rapists.
What?
Very specific.
Castrated deer rapist?
Yes. That is what it says.
Okay, continue on.
Sun put his hand at his junk and started to masturbate. The girls are near. They must avoid the fiery lava cum shot. Sun gets to gets next to the climax, the fluid core of the sun produces more and more pleasantfully agony-filled, addicted sperm. Yes, he goes. He is going, my god, no. Sun spurts a gigantic full mass of destructive plasmoidic venereal diseases contained with the most dangerous species of moss and horny full bacteria. That brimstonic storm of fiery liquid semen unleashes his sun aids to the most maidenly comets and asteroids of the solar system, breaking the hymens of the very reality itself. Time and space starts to dissolve and ejaculate.
What?
No, cries Blossom, with a flirtative, desperated pain as she feels and sees the universe as we know it, turning into a self-folded Tampax origami of saccharose.
Tampax origami?
Of saccharose.
What? What? How the... What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Yes, Powerpud girls, utter the moistenized sun. I shall dominate the 7 laws of physics. No more will I be slave to Beetlejuice sexual deviances. Mwahaha. And sun opens its carnivorous mouth to eat the heroic girls that fought with justice. Blossom, still with Buttercup on her shoulders, starts to flew to the opposite direction of the sun, to escape its mouth breath of prognosis. Prognosis. But it's hard to get away. The reality is collapsing, and she must avoid colliding with the self-interlacing planes of dimension and other parallel existences.
What?
Which part are you missing?
All of it.
Good. We're on the same page then. The sun comes near and nearer every second. Buttercup weight is just too much, and she knows it. Blue Sun, moans Buttercup, with a frail voice as her bowels hangs out of her scarred and drilled stomach. You must let go of me, or else we both die.
Wait, so
No.
she's wait. So she's holding on to her what?
Who?
Someone is holding on to someone's skewered what now? Like, is she holding on to like her colon?
Blossom has Buttercup over her shoulders. Buttercup seppuku'd herself.
Yeah.
And they're both fighting the sun.
If she committed seppuku, she should be dead.
Apparently not, because no one cut her head off.
So she's a zombie Powerpuff Girl?
I have no idea.
My head hurts.
Wait, it gets better.
No.
I cannot let you die here. You, my sister. To Gator, we must save Bibles. No, you must save her. I shall die here, because all this is my faultness. My hemophilic tendencies condemned all the galaxy. So long, sister. And Buttercup let go of Blue Soom, caressful care. She is starting to fall, getting pulled by the gravitational field, which is spelled P-H-I-E-L-D, of the sun. Blossom screams, but her voice can't be heard. It just evaporates before reaching the ears of a falling green clothes-clad girl. Buttercup clothers are burning, and she gets nude with the temperature. All the sheets of ice that were covering her skin are now gone with the heat, and her boobies now expel dozens of pounds of boiling, bloated milk.
What? I agree. But what? No.
$500, Wren, and I'll read my immortal. Buttercup, no! Oh, wait, lines. Sorry. Sun laughs with his mouth open, with his open mouth. The sun doesn't care. He molds the reality at his pleasure. He just can't understand the love between sisters. Blue Soma's eyes get teary. Her sister body is engulfed by the maddening flames of hate at the core of our, till this moment, most beloved light donor benefactor. The sun swallows the dying girl, and she is no more seen. Buttercup, no! Cries with lungs almost exploding, the Blossom Girl. She can't believe this exorcism. First her father, then Boobles, and now Butku. She doesn't even finish the word. It's Buttcu with 4 exclamation points. She is alone, in the middle of a space-time collapse. No one can help her. No one is at her side. So far, she managed to be the stoic girl, fighting against the sadness and decay of mind and souls her sisters had fallen. The only thing that managed to not let her lose her mind was her own family. But now it's gone. She is lone.
She's alone. Not alone. She is lone.
Yes. There's a lot of it. This person likes their period key far too much. The sun is at his most apex. He looks to blossom, some few light years from his position, and brags, "Ha, you girl is puny. Kazom won. You think you can fight me? No, you can't. You are just a jealous piece of immature, unsexed pussycat. Go away and live the rest of your existence in a bottom-line, retardant asteroid. I let you live. I let because I am a god." Blossom.
There's more?
Yes.
There's more.
There's more.
How much more?
More than we want to listen to. Blossom crying eyes are exploding with fear, with uncertainty. She doesn't know what to do, without a friend, without reason. The rage took her body all of a sudden. She remembers her parent, her sisters, even the enemies that the life she took away in a moment of uncontrollable rageness. The memories are all that remains, and she must fight for them, because it's all that left. L-E-G-T. Sun, utter with discrepanatious. D-I-S-C-R-E-P-A-N-C-E-T-I-C-O-U-S. Flaccid abhorrence, the red-horned missy child. You never be pardoned. And she flies to his direction with coconuts in her belly, urging for blood, urging for the
Where did the coconuts come from?
I don't know, but they're in her belly. Urging for the retaliation. God damn. R-E-T-A-L-A-I-A-T-I-O-N. She swore to avenge. A-V-A-N-G. I have to spell this stuff because otherwise it doesn't make any sense what I'm saying.
Does it ever?
No.
They're in space. Where the fuck did she get coconuts?
I have no idea. Calmness on. I'll put you to a fetus-filled black-holed graveyard, you floozy wench. And Sun clenches his fists and races toward the elimination of that humanly pitiful threat. But Blossom is not a minimal threat. She is a girl. Capitals? All on capitals and girl with 5 exclamation points for emphasis.
Yes, Kadant, that's what I'm questioning.
As Blossom approaches the sun corona, her senses start to fade. First, her eyes melt in a peaceful, sad condor. Like the bird. But she don't care. Her hearing feeling is expurgated from her carnal vessel. But it's useless. She doesn't need it anymore. Not to where she is going. Then her tongue unleashes blood from its papillae. turning the battle of her life into a sour memento of the universal destruction unfolding before her lovely mute skin. Quit it, sultry girl, telephatically transmits the sun to his antagonist. You are dead. Go away, and I'll let you live in a disabled full way. Ha ha ha. Mutters with bragful utterance the unconscious Uncontious sun. But Blossom don't care anymore. With the last energies that last in her body, she is miles away from the sun. Her skin turned into roasted eye-brown coal, and her bones are collapsing in a dust of cadaveric pulsar. But the energy of love for the humanity permits the continuation of her quest.
What?
What?
Did anyone understand anything that just came out of the story? What? Go on. Keep going. Keep fucking going. I don't... What?
You're the one who wanted this. We could have continued with Lena Dunham, but you decided that we needed an option.
Just read.
Blossom, without her senses, nor her touch feeling, nor her carnal sensory senses, doesn't know where to go. But she lets the passion guides her, the passion for a better world. Sun is only a mile away. Her hair is catching fire, and fumes are exhalating from her internal organs. Her teeth exploded into 1,000 pieces of bloody dust, and her heart only beats for a miracle of love. She have only one chances, only one. Love guides. It tells her where to go. To the dick. To the dick. To the dick. And she enters.
What? What? Love tells her where to go. To the dick?
Repeated 3 times. And then she enters, in all capital letters, with 4 exclamation points. Blossom infiltrates Sun in gorged urethra, and he is totally consterned with abomination. No, she cannot do it, and Sun starts to masturbate furiously again, to extrincate Blossom from his precious solar dong. The red-hot steaming blobs of reality-warping semen are ejaculating from Sun's ball sacks, and as they pass through the urethra, the very last pieces of flesh and mortal cells dwelling over Blossom's body gets stripped away from reality to avoid in time-space continuum. But Blossom's heart is stronger, and even without a mortal vessel to carry it, it continues on its journey to the center of the testicle. No, this cannot be. You can't rape the penis of a god. But Blossom already did it.
What?
Her last remaining piece of flesh, her heart, reaches the center of Sun's semen-generating gonad. It is filled with star-destroying pulsars and dwarf stars, slaving to maintain the circle of jerk that permits the Sun to control the very fabric of reality itself.
Is that it?
Oh no.
There's
Oh, no.
more.
There's more.
What is this? The third false ending? What is this? Return of the King?
No, this cannot be. Oh wait, I already read that part. Blossom's heart goes to the center, the very center, where a minuscule galaxy made of erotic, homogeneous black holes is. She approaches it, and she senses the hate of the solar system's sun, all of his hatred against humanity, all the false gods praised and loved in place of him. The justifications of his act are embedded inside this little shiny piece of black emotions that composes his very soul. Ra, Amaterasu, Apollo, Helios, Sol, all the false gods for whom the humanity's crimes against nature were committed. C-O-M-I-I-T-E-D. She now knows why he did this, but she can't forgive. He have no right over anyone. He must not continue his quest to destroy everything. He must be stopped. Stopped? Stopped. S-T-O-P-E-D.
That's stopped.
No, please, I beg forgiveness. Don't put an end to the reign of calcium nirvana I've putting to the generations of man. You must let me life. But Blossom doesn't want to forgive. She must stop him. She is failing. The heart is stopping. One more breath. One more. She hasn't any lungs! Her heart accumulates the only power left to it. The heart knows this must be done. Blossom's heart entered the black hole gonad. It pulsates. The black hole moans, and boom! A supernova of sacred savage semen explodes acid the ball sacks of the sun.
What?
Yes.
What?
What part aren't you following?
All of it!
Good.
All of it! I can't... What? I don't...
That is a viable theory, Cinder Shadow. Cinder Shadow says, I think there is a code with all the weird added words. Help, I am trapped in Stephen King's basement and I cannot escape.
It possibly... Yeah.
Sacred
Black hole...
savage
Black
semen
hole
cadet.
testicles.
Mm-hmm. He screams, but the obliteration is total. The cum spreads all over the galaxy, the universe. And all reality gets bukakied in the face by that explosion of fruitful penis juice caused by only one thing. The love for the others, the love of Blossom. The sun evaporates in a flood of cosmic seminal gust. The space and time starts to come back to its place. The realities are turning to normal, and one person appears again in the right place. Boobles comes back from the void of non-existence. She saw everything. The fight, Buttercup dead, Blossom's sacrifice. She just thinks, what have I done to my life? Blossom and Buttercup, you showed me. And Boobles cries as the universe turns to a state of normality. But there is no more sun, no more Earth. The solar system is gone, and her sisters. Boobles is the last remnant of an era, the last human alive in the middle of a pool of cum-flavored universe, and her constipation continues.
A pool of cum-flavored universe?
Yes.
What?
Yes.
Is there more?
No, that is actually the end.
Oh, thank God. I don't... What? Just... What the fuck?
Yes.
Yes, but... Go on. I can't.
Yes, Metacurve Fembot.
What?
Blossom, Buttercup, and Bubbles, the Powerpuff Girls, who were apparently no longer children, as earlier in the story, Buttercup was lactating quite heavily.
I don't... Ah, oh, God. My head hurts.
I can hear Kadant cackling in her room.
Yes, so can I. That's not a good thing.
No, it's not. What?
Yes, I agree with Medic Fembot. Someone end the suffering. Alright.
Would you like to return to Lena Dunham now?
Yeah. Okay, so I complain that Lena Dunham is a stream of consciousness, right?
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck you just read, but Jesus Christ, that's...
The next one I'm going to read is called Scooby-Doo and the Trip of Lust.
No!
In the middle of a road trip at Jamaica, Scooby's gang get involved into a plot of lies, self-loathing, and personal discoveries.
Lies, self-loathing, and personal Oh, God.
That's the next one.
Alright.
That's even longer than this one.
No, oh, come on, don't torture us.
The one I just read was 2,477 words. This one is 3,906.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Alright, let's go back to some semi-understandable cringe. How's that?
If you would like.
Alright, so this is from Lena Dunham's Not That Kind of Girl. Yeah, 2,477 quote-unquote words. There
were some words that were very clearly spelled.
So this one is titled Little Leather Gloves, The Joy of Wasting Time. Kaduntress says she's muting us. I need to save what brain cells I have left so I can write. Maybe I'll work on a fanfic. Oh, God. Alright, there's a quote here. It says, I remember when my schedule was as flexible as she is. By Drake. I'm assuming that's a song lyric.
Perhaps.
Lena Dunham is not that creative. I worked at the baby store for 9 months. Step away from the children, Lena. They don't want rocks in their vaginas. They don't want you to take care of them. They don't want you to hold them. Just stay away and everything will be fine. Just recently graduated. I had stormed out of my restaurant job on a whim, causing my father to yell, "You can't just do that. What if you had children?"
Excuse me for a moment, Antoine. I will be right back.
Okay. At this point, well, thank God I don't, I yelled right back. At this point, I was living in a glorified closet at the back of my parents' loft, a room they had assigned me because they thought I would graduate and move out like a properly evolving person. We also know that Lena Dunham isn't proper or evolving in any way. Well, maybe she... What's Muck's evolved form in Pokemon? That's what she's evolving into. Or Snorlax, one of the two. The room had no windows, and so, in order to get a glimpse of daylight, I had to slide open the door to my sister's bright, airy room. Grimer? Yeah, she's evolving into a Grimer. Go away, she would hiss. I was unemployed, and while I had a roof over my head, my parents, and food to eat, also technically theirs, my days were shapeless, and the disappointment of the people who loved me, my parents, was palpable. I slept until noon, became defensive when asked about my plans for the future, and gained weight like it was a viable profession. No shit, Dunham. You've been doing that all book. I was becoming the kind of adult parents worry about producing. I had been ambitious once, in college. All I seemed to do was found literary magazines with inexplicable names and stage experimental black box theatre and join teams. Rugby, if one only for a day or so. I was eager and hungry for new art, for new friendship, for sex. Despite my ambivalence about academia, college was a wonderful gig. Thousands of hours to tend to yourself like a garden. But now I was back to zero. No grades, no semesters, no cliff notes in case of emergency. I was lost. It's not that I didn't have plans. Oh, I had plans. I'm sure she did. My first idea was to be the assistant to a private eye, because that's a rational goal that adults actually think can happen. I was always being accused of extreme nosiness, so why not turn this character flaw into cold hard cash? Because you actually have to be intelligent, Lena. After hunting around on Craigslist, however, it soon became clear that most private eyes worked alone. Or if they needed an assistant, they wanted someone with the kind of sensual looks and bait-cheating husbands. The second idea was a baker. After all, I love bread, and all bread byproducts. But no, that involved waking up at 4 every morning, and knowing how to bake. What about preschool art teacher? Turns out that involved more than just a passion for pasta necklaces. There would be no rom-com ready job for me. You have plans too, Ali. That's good to know. The only silver lining in my situation was that it allowed me to reconnect with my oldest friends, Isabel and Joanna. Whatever. We were all back in Tribeca, the same neighbourhood where we had met in preschool. Isabel was finishing her sculpture degree, living with an aging pug named Hamlet, who had once had his head run over by a truck and survived. Give that pug a medal! He had his head run over by a truck. It's still more than Lena Dunham's ever accomplished. Joanna had just completed art school and was sporting the festive remains of a bleached mullet. I had broken up with the hippie boyfriend I considered my bridge to health and wholeness and was editing a feature film on my laptop. Isabel was living in her father's old studio, which she had decorated with found objects, standing racks of children's Halloween costumes, and a TV from 1997. When the three of us met there to catch up, Joanna's nails painted like weed leaves and Monet's, I felt at peace. Because this is what normal people do. This is what normal people fucking do.
What do normal people fucking do?
No, you don't. I'm not going to reread it. You're just going to have to deal with it.
You made me reread things.
I'm not going to reread the entire goddamn paragraph.
Well, then fine. Summarise it for me.
Her friends are fucking burnouts just like she is. And they hang around and one of them has fucking weed leaves painted on her fucking fingernails with Monet.
What? She has weed leaves?
Yeah, pot leaves.
With Monet?
Yeah, Monet paintings on her fingernails.
Oh. Alright.
See, aren't you glad you got that summary?
It was about as confusing as I imagined the paragraph was.
Isabel was employed at Peach and the Babke, a high-end children's clothing store in our neighborhood. Monet, as in the painter. Isabel is a true eccentric. Not the self-conscious kind who collects feathers and snow globes, but the kind whose passions and predilections are so genuinely out of sync with the world at large that she herself becomes an object of fascination. That's not eccentric, that's mentally handicapped. One day, Isabel had strolled into the store on a dare to inquire about employment, essentially because it was the funniest thing she could imagine doing for a living. Wearing knee socks and a man's shirt as a dress, she had been somewhat dismayed when she was offered a job on the spot. Joanna joined her there a few weeks later, when the madness of the yearly sample sale required extra hands. "It's a ball," said Isabel. "I mean, it's awfully easy," said Joanna. Peach and the Bobcat sold baby clothes at such a high price point that customers would often laugh out loud upon glimpsing a tag. Cashmere cardigans, ratty tutus, and fine whale cords sized 6 months to 8 years. This is where you came if you wanted your daughter to look like Dorothea Lange photo, or your son to resemble a jaunty old-time train conductor. This is an actual store. This is fucking stupid. Who wants to pay money for that shit?
Apparently someone did if they stayed in business.
It will be a miracle if any of the boys who wore Peach and the Bobcat emerged from childhood able to maintain an erection.
I don't think it's childhood where you want them to be able to maintain an erection.
This is Lena Dunham we're talking about.
True.
I can't find a goddamn fucking job and I'm too fat to be a stripper. I said as I polished off a stale croissant. No, Lena, you're not too fat to be a stripper. All you have to do is find the right place. Isabel paused as if contemplating an advanced theorem, then lit up. We need another girl at Peach. We do, we do, we do. It would be a gas, she told me. It'd be like our own secret clubhouse. You can get tons of free ribbons. Because that's a... Apparently that's a selling point. It was such an easy job. All you had to do was fold, wrap, and minister to the rich and famous. That's all we did as kids. Be nice to art collectors so our parents could pay our tuition. Isabel said, you'll be amazing at it. I'm starting to understand why Lena Dunham does not understand why she can't connect with normal people. She's never met normal people. She's never been around normal people.
Normal people avoid Lena Dunham because they can tell she is a creepy molester.
The next day, I stopped by with a copy of my resume and met Phoebe, the manager to the store, who looked like the saddest fourth grader you ever met but was, in reality, 32 and none too pleased about it. She was beautiful like a Gibson girl, a pale, round face, heavy lids, and rosy lips. She wiped her hands on her plaid pinafore. Why did you leave your last job? She asked. This is what you don't say to the person that you're trying to get employment from. I was hooking up with someone in the kitchen and the dessert chef was a bitch, I explained. I don't know what a Gibson girl is.
A Gibson girl is a period of style from the early 1900s.
Oh. I can pay you $100 a day, cash, she said. $100 a day, cash? What the fuck? Does anybody else want $100 a day? Cash!
I could take that.
Sounds good. I was secretly thrilled, both at the salary and the prospect of spending every day with my oldest and most amusing friends. This is never a good idea. Never work with your friends. It's a bad idea. Horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible idea. We also buy you lunch every day, Phoebe said. The lunch is awesome, Isabel chimed in, spreading some pint-sized leather gloves that retailed for $155 out in the display case next to a broken vintage camera. Price upon request. See you later, Ben. I'm sure I'll sleep fine, as long as I turn off everything that ever worked. Well, you have to understand, this is Lena Dunham, Gulf City Fright Supremacist. She can't do anything more than, you know, stare at someone. I'm in, I said, for reasons I will never understand but did not question. Phoebe handed me $25 for the interview itself. What?
Phoebe clearly did not have a concept of money.
Apparently not.
I would like Phoebe to be my friend.
Yeah, we need to find this person. And with that, Peach and the Bobcay became the most poorly staffed store in the history of the world. At least she's she's self-aware in that aspect.
She is becoming slowly more self-aware as the book progresses. Slowly.
The days at Peach followed a certain rhythm. With only one window up front, it was hard to get a sense of time passing, and so life became sedentary. If pleasant, mass of risotto and tiny overalls. But I will reconstruct it for you as best I can. 10:10. Roll in the door with coffee in your hand. If you're feeling nice, you also bring one for Phoebe. Sorry I'm late, you say before flinging your coat on the floor. Yes, they were selling leather gloves for kids. And a bunch of other expensive fucking shit. 10:40. Head into the back room to start casually folding some Pima cotton baby leggings, $55 to $65. And roll neck fisherman sweaters, $175. These are for children. Children at these prices. $10.50. Get distracted telling Joanna a story about a homeless guy you saw wearing a salad spinner for a hat. And yet that is more entertaining than most of this book. 11:10. First customer rings the bell. They're either freezing and looking to browse before their next appointment, or obscenely rich and about to purchase $5,000 worth of gifts for their nieces. You and Joanna try to do the best wrapping job you can to calculate the tax properly, but there's a good chance you charge them an extra $500. Yes, $175 for a shirt they're going to grow out of in 3 months. 11:15. Start talking about lunch. How badly you want or don't want it. How good it will be when it hits your lips. Or, alternately, how little mind you even pay to food these days. 11:25. Call next door for the specials. 12 o'clock. Isabel arrives. She's on the schedule called Princess Hours. When you ask if you can also work Princess Hours, Phoebe says, no, they're for princesses. It's kind of self-explanatory, really. 12:30. Sit down for an elaborate 3-course meal that the store paid for. Let Phoebe try your couscous, since it's the least you can do. Split a baguette with Isabel if you can have half her butternut squash soup. Eat a pot of fresh ricotta to finish it off. Not just a little bit, an entire pot. And she wonders why she looks like Grimer trying to evolve into muck. 1 o'clock. Joanna leaves for therapy. Big fucking surprise there. 1:30. The UPS guy comes and unloads boxes of rag dolls made of vintage curtains. $320. You ask him how his son is doing. He says he's in jail. 2 o'clock. Isabel leaves for therapy. Again, big fucking surprise. 2:30. Meg Ryan comes in wearing a large hat. Buys nothing. Okay. 3 o'clock. Phoebe asks you to rub her head for a while. She lies on the rug in the back and moans with pleasure. A customer rings the doorbell. She says to ignore it, and when her massage is done, she sends you around the corner for cappuccinos and brownies. There's more. Jesus. 4 o'clock. You leave for therapy, collecting your $100. I want this job. 6 o'clock. This is the time work was actually supposed to end, but you're already home, half asleep, waiting for Jeff Ruiz to finish his landscaping job and meet you on the roof of his building to drink beer and feel each other up. Only once in 9 months does Phoebe admonish you for your poor work ethic, and she feels so guilty about it at lunch, she goes across the street and buys you a scented candle.
Phoebe clearly was sheltered in some sort of convent, and then someone took advantage of her innocence
Phoebe
and convinced her that this was all smart.
Yes. Phoebe
I still kind of want her to be my friend.
Well, Phoebe ran the store with her mother, Linda, though Linda spent most of her time in Pennsylvania, or, if she was in the city, upstairs in the apartment she kept, smoking and eating popcorn from a big metal bowl. As thoughtful and conflicted as Phoebe was, her mother was so wild her hair stood on end. Phoebe handled the practicalities of the business, while Linda conceived designs so fantastical that rather than sketch them, she would just wave ribbons and scraps in the air, outlining a sweater or a tutu.
Alright.
Or, I agree with Vess, this is all BS. Phoebe and Linda's fights had a tendency to turn rabid and range from small business issues to the very fibre of their characters. All my friends were getting abortions, she screamed. Linda often spoke of her former life in San Francisco, pre-children, a utopia of knitwear designs and early Western practitioners of yoga who supported and inspired one another. The money was good, the sex was even better. Phoebe's mother just basically said I should have aborted you. In an argument. As they...
Continue.
Good night, Ali.
Good night, Ali.
As they fought, Isabel and I, or Joanna and I, as it was rare we all worked at once, would look at each other nervously, shrug, then proceed to try on all of the dresses we carried in a child's size 8, whose hemlines hit right below our crotches, aka just right. Oh god. There you go. There's another image for you. Lena Dunham in a child's dress with the hemline just above her crotch.
Ugh.
Another common distraction was to cover our heads in rabbit fur berets, $16, or strap each other up with ribbons like some Estas Helmut Newton photograph. Sometimes I would find Phoebe crying by the air conditioner, head on the desk where she kept her old PC, staring at a pile of unpaid bills. The fact that the store was in trouble, the recession was in full swing, and in times of economic hardship, high-end children's clothing is the first thing to go. Yes. Good night, Cinder Shadow. Yes, that's the first thing that people think of in time of hardship. We felt like a deep and impenetrable sadness when we watched a hip-hop mogul's credit card get declined. A sure sign of doom for Peach and Bobke. And for the world. Every day we hoped for a big sale, and every day we watched Phoebe's brow furrow as she went over the books, and every night we took our $100 bill home without reservation. The job allowed us a lot of time for socializing. Together we were finding our own New York, which looked a lot like the New York of our parents. We went to art openings for the free wine and Christmas parties for the free food, then peeled off to smoke pot on Isabel's couch and watch reruns of Seinfeld. We stopped by parties where we didn't know the host, wore skirts as tube tops and tights as pants. We split bowls of bolognese at chic restaurants rather than get full meals at boring ones. A night of carousing never passed without me stepping outside the experience to think, yes, this must be what it is to be young.
If you have to stop and consider that, you're already not young.
According to Lena Dunham, she hasn't been young since she was 12. Remember, she was an old soul.
True.
Upon graduation, I had felt a heavy sense of doom. A sense of nothing would ever be simple again. But look what we had found. We were making it work with our cash and our bad wrapping jobs, with our fried over-dyed hair and our fried over-processed foods. Everything took on a hazy romance. Having a pimple, eating a donut, being cold. Nothing was a tragedy and everything was a joke. I had waited a long time to be a woman, a long time to venture away from my parents, and now I had sex, once with 2 guys in a week, and bragged about it like the divorcee who was getting back in the game. Up to my knees in mud from a night on the town, I rinsed off in the shower as Isabel watched and said, "Handle it, dirty girl." They're a bunch of pretentious cunts!
You've just clued into this?
No! I'm stating a fact. Jesus Christ. They're a bunch of pretentious fucking cunts.
Yes.
Everything is all about them. It doesn't matter what the fuck they're doing. They know for a fact the shop's going under, yet they still take the goddamn fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is a romance, from having a pimple to eating a donut? She had sex twice in one week. That must be an accomplishment for her.
Having sex is an accomplishment for her.
It must be, because according to her, in this very book, she doesn't know what she's doing.
She doesn't know what she's doing about anything, much less sex.
I didn't know the word for it, but I was happy. I was happy wrapping presents, catering to listless bankers' wives, and locking the store up with a rusty key a few minutes before closing time. I was happy being slightly condescending to people with platinum cards, reveling in our status as shopgirls who knew more than we were letting on. We would stay here in our cave, looking out on Tribeca through the picture window, and on weekends we would trip up to the west side highway in red dresses, sloshing beer, ready to fuck and fight and fall asleep on top of one another. Now, I know you and your sisters don't do the red dresses, but that last bit does sound remarkably similar.
We do fight, though I think she's talking more the cat fight type, ours are more the violent brawl, or sparring match gone a little too rough. Typically beer's not involved. Carrie likes it, but I don't. And we definitely do not fall asleep on top of each other.
Sorry, Vin. They don't fall asleep on top of each other. It's just your fantasy.
Hello, Dreadfire. Run while you can.
How's it going, Dreadfire? But ambition is a funny thing. It creeps in when you least expect it, and keeps you moving, even when you think you want to stay put. I missed making things. The meaning it gave this long march we call life. One night, as we readied ourselves for another event where we weren't exactly welcome, it occurred to me, this is something. Why didn't we tell this story instead of just living it? The story of children of the art world trying, and failing, to match their parents' successes. Unsure of their own passions, but sure they wanted glory. Because people like to hear stories about winners. Like, they like to make movies about winners.
Mm-hmm.
Movies about winners win Oscars. Movies about losers win Razzies. You know what a Razzie is, don't you?
Yes, I know what a Razzie is, and frankly, Lena Dunham's entire life would qualify her for several. All of them, even though it's not a movie.
You're not wrong. Why didn't we make a web series? At that point, the internet web series was poised to replace film, television, radio, and literature. About characters even more pathetic than we were. That's because there's no characters as pathetic as you that possibly could exist. Salad Fingers, which just came out with its 11th episode, which is creepy as fucking shit, is still less pathetic in his post-apocalyptic world than you are, Lena.
The theory behind Salad Fingers is interesting.
I don't want to get into that. We're not. This is not film theory. Do I sound like Matt Pat?
No, you would sound cuter.
Ouch.
You ask.
We never made it to the party that night. Instead, we'd ordered pizza, curled up in easy chairs, and began pitching names and locations and plot lines into the night. We ransacked Isabel's closet for possible costume pieces. A beaded flapper dress, a Dudley do-right hat. Why the fuck does she have them?
Sparky just blue screened.
Apparently. Manually initiated his crash. His system crash.
Is that a euphemism for masturbation with Sparky?
No. Let's see. And Joanna conceived the hairstyle that would be her character's signature. A sleek beehive built around a shampoo bottle for height. You can't have a sleek beehive hairdo. It's called a beehive because it's massive. And so using the money that Peach provided, we began to create something that would reflect the manic energy of this moment. It was called... Do you want to take a guess at what it was called?
Psychological torture?
No, that's what we're doing to the chat right now.
My Inane Life.
Close.
Shotguns.
No. It was called Delusional Downtown Divas. A title we hated but couldn't top. Isabel portrayed Agnes, A-G, capital A-G, capital N-E-S-S, an aspiring businesswoman with a passion for power suits. Joanna was the enigmatic Swan, a private performance artist, in other words, a private dancer, in other words, a hooker.
Mm-hmm.
My character, Una Weingrod, was an aspiring novelist who had never actually written a word.
Una Weingrod.
What? You can't be a novelist if you haven't put down things on paper. Or even in a computer processor. What the...
Why are you doing this to us? Why do you hate us?
I don't hate you.
It seems like you hate us.
Alright, it's almost over.
Are you sure?
Yes. All of them...
you're lying.
No, it's 2.5 pages left. And then we have a really easy chapter of 17 things I learned from my father. All of them were obsessed...
Be ridiculously patient with your daughter?
How to not make sure your daughter accuses you of child molestation?
All viable theories?
Yeah, all of them were obsessed with a young painter named Jake Pheasant. We completed 10 episodes, many of which featured cameos from our parents' friends, who still viewed us as children doing an adorable class project. Looking at the video now, they leave something to be desired. Like talent. Blaringly digital, with shaky camera work, we careen across the screen in messy costumes, cracking up at our own jokes, tickled with the ingenuity of our concept. Lines like, I just know we can join the feminist art collective if we put our minds to it, and we will finally be it girls, are a little too real to feel like parody. At least she is admitting that the feminist world is a collective.
Mm-hmm. She's also increasingly self-aware. I'm not sure how comfortable I am with this.
The first time I showed my father the footage, we were sitting at our dining room table. He took a long sip of tea, then asked, "Why did you have to do this?" Isn't that what you just asked me?
Yes.
And yes, it was broad, amateurish, a little vulgar. It didn't have narrative propulsion or cinematic graces, but watching it now, I can also feel the giddiness, the joy of creation we are all experiencing, the catharsis of admitting to our situation. It jumps off the screen. It's silly and obvious and high on its own supply, but it's something. It's a step forward. She didn't actually answer her father.
No.
Because she doesn't have an answer.
No.
People who weren't my father kind of loved it, and were invited to present the videos in a small gallery on Green Street in Soho. In an attempt to remain staunchly rooted in the conceptual, we decided to decorate the gallery like a replica of Isabel's apartment. We hauled our worldly possessions across Canal Street, including a treadmill, Isabel's couch, and some family heirlooms. We pulled all-nighters, decorating the space lovingly, and I insisted on wearing painter's overalls to complement my new identity as a serious artiste. The night of our quote-unquote opening remains among the most surprising of my life. By the time I arrived, I was late, as my mother insisted I shower.
Did she just admit to not showering?
Yes. Good night, Medica Vembot. Give the nurse a good thwacking for us all. She deserves it. The space was full, and the crowd was spilling into the street. Wine in cups, feet in pirate boots, and fluorescent heels. People we didn't even know were there. A testament to the idea that energy attracts energy, because our parents sure as hell weren't advertising. I wouldn't advertise your garbage either. Someone asked to take our photograph. Isabel and Joanna and I clutched at one another, unable to believe our luck. We went to a bar afterwards, and a DJ gave me his business card in a way that could have been sexual. We had made it. No. No. She's an adult at this point. Her head is still firmly in the clouds. Has she never had a good, hard day's work in her life?
No.
After that, life at Peach lost some of its luster. Work induced a sleepy malaise, and I wondered if I had recontracted mono. Joanna got some illustration work and cut back on her hours. Isabel found increasing reasons not to appear. The walk across Hudson Street to open the store began to feel a little tragic.
You had a bloody lovely job with a very naive owner who pampered the shit out of you, and you're all bitching and moaning because you did something new and now work seems boring.
Yes.
Ungrateful.
Then one day, I botched the mailing list. I was meant to send out 1,000 postcards heralding our summer sample sale, but caught up in reverie, I didn't notice I had printed 500 address stickers for one single family and applied nearly all of them. My error was so shocking to Linda that her nostrils flared and spit flew as she screamed at me. I'm sorry, I told her, but I have a bus to catch.
That's not the best way to quit your job.
No. You left them high and dry, you fucking whore. I boarded a Greyhound to Ithaca to see a college friend. The kind of purposeless trip you will never take again after age 25. We spent the weekend walking in fields, taking pictures of old-fashioned neon signs with a disposable camera, and watching carp spawn in a river. We ate nothing but hummus and drank nothing but beer. We went to his neighbor's funeral and sat in the back row and got the giggles and sprinted out. We walked around his mother's garden, crushing living things with our boots. How's your job? He asked. My boss is such a bitch, I told him. Wow, really? You fucked up and got yelled at, but your boss is a bitch. I projected onto his life a sweetness, a lack of complication, the kind of vibe terrible people would call quaint. I loved his basement apartment in a ramshackle house, the fact that there was only one Chinese restaurant in town, and that he'd never have to see a more successful person than himself at a party. I was jealous. I wanted to be in it. I wanted to fuck it up.
At least she admits that she's there to destroy things.
And that she's a horrible fucking person.
Yes.
So on the night before I left, I drank half a whiskey ginger and hurled my naked body onto his, kissing him in an unfocused but enthusiastic way. He responded with a sad smile, and we fucked in the blue light of a documentary about police brutality. We didn't speak for a year, but I thought of his house all the time. Did she just rape him?
Basically. If I'm understanding what I just heard properly.
So, not only is Lena Dunham a child molester, but she's also a rapist.
Apparently.
And a bitch. And a self-entitled cunt. And
I think you summed it up pretty effectively. She's a horrible person.
Yeah, just fucking horrible fucking person. In September of 2009, the delusional Downtown Divas were offered our first real gig, hosting the Guggenheim's first annual art awards. Our parents were shocked that this lark had brought anyone even remotely serious knocking on our door. But I've always believed that it turns people on to get made fun of, and the art world was no exception.
Power through it.
It turns her on to get made fun of. God.
We already know she does not she can't get off without being abased in some way.
Does that mean if she listens to these, she's going to be masturbating?
Probably.
God, I have to start being nice to her. I don't want the thought of that.
Too late.
And we were offered license to run wild and a $5,000 fee to split among us. We all quit our jobs at Peach that day with the joyful abandon of lottery winners. Because you had $5,000. You fucking cunts.
Poor Phoebe.
Yeah, I rented a 100-square-foot office in a nearby with 5,000 in a nearby building, which became our official headquarters and set to work. The building was populated with young, handsome filmmakers in pork pie hats and professionals who couldn't quite explain what they did. People built half-pipes in their offices and encouraged inter-office sleepovers. Everyone bought their lunch from a deli called New Fancy Food. The landlord, a Chinese woman named Summer Weinberg, asked sweetly whether I was a prostitute. She was Chinese, so, you know, the eyes were half closed, so she couldn't really see Lena all that well.
Don't be racist.
I'm not being racist. I'm fat-shaming. Our mini fridge had nothing but tres leche cake in it. We spent months preparing, creating new episodes, and writing awards show-style banter about figures like performance artist Joan Jonas. Is she the Jonas Brothers' mother? That's a joke? Oh God. We shot an episode in the museum itself where we were almost removed after I encouraged Isabel to hang her leg over the mezzanine and scream, "I'm gonna pull a Carl Andrea up here." I don't get it. The awards themselves were a blur. We awoke early and travelled uptown to have our hair styled professionally for the first time. We hit our marks and heard our voices echo up onto the rotunda. We saw James Franco, something that now seems hard to avoid. During intermission, Isabel and I got into a tearful fight when I told a makeup artist that Isabel ought to own a store. "You don't believe in me," she said. "You don't think I know how to do anything real, which is the only reason you would ever tell someone to open a store." Oh. Did a drunk publish this? What is the publisher? Random House. Random House published this. They might have been drunk when they did it.
They were paid very, very handsomely to make this happen.
"Yes, I do. Look at all this," I cried. "Yeah, but we're not going to, do this for our lives," Joanna said. In the months that followed, we dispersed. Imagine my shock. 3 vapid cunts can't work together. Me to Los Angeles, Joanna to graduate school, and Isabel to upstate New York, where she met a man named Jason with a sweet smile and no connection to the art world whatsoever. We took the videos we had made together off the internet, embarrassed by the things we had once thought so profound. "What's the worst job you've ever had?" is a popular question in interviews and at dinner parties. Once my boss yelled at me for giving Gwyneth Paltrow the wrong size in baby leggings, I say, wincing at the memory. What I don't say is that it felt like home, that it started our journey, and that we ate the best lunches I've ever had. What I don't say is that I miss it. Alright, we're going to do this last one, because it's only 17 things. This is 17 things I learned from my father. Number 1.
Not keeping her mouth shut was one that she failed to learn.
Well, this one involves you, Sarah. Number
What?
1. Death is coming for us all.
I might actually avoid her.
You said you've avoided her. You said her soul was squidgy.
It is squidgy. I'm going to keep avoiding her.
2. There are no bad thoughts, only bad actions. That's actually good advice. I'm noticing a difference between the things she learned from her mother to the things she learned from her father.
I'm beginning to think her father was a better role model and she should have paid more attention.
Here we go. This seems a little bit on the true side. Men, watch out. The ladies are coming for your toys. Damn Alien says the one thing she learned from her father is hurry up, Sarah.
Her solar squidgy. I'm not touching it again.
4. Confidence lets you pull anything off, even Tevis with socks. What's a Tevis?
I'm not sure. Spell it.
Tevas.
Just a moment. Tevas. Come on. Some sort of shoe, it appears. I'm waiting for the page to load.
Okay. Damn Alien says the sandals.
Oh. Fine, let's go with that.
Alright. Number 5. All children are amazing artists. It's the grown-ups you have to worry about. That's not true. That's not true at all. I've seen some god-awful drawings. Number 6. Unhappy at a party? Say you're going to go check on your car, then exit swiftly. Make eye contact with no one. Number 7. Drunk emotions aren't real emotions. This man is actually brilliant. And he helped give birth to Lena Dunham.
He helped to raise Lena Dunham, and I wonder where he went wrong.
Well, the best part of Lena Dunham rolled down the crack of her mother's ass and ended up a stain on the mattress.
Apparently.
8. A sweet potato prepared in the microwave, then slathered with flaxseed oil makes for an exceptional snack. I wouldn't know. 9. It's never too late to learn. 10. The Volvo is bad enough. I'm not putting a coat on the fucking dog. Number 11. The rising tide lifts all boats. Number 12. That being said, it's horrible when people you hate get things you want. Number 13. Hitting a creative wall? Take a break from your work to watch a procedural. They always solve the case, and so will you. 14. You don't need to be flamboyant in your life to be flamboyant in your work. Number 15.
This man is actually quite intelligent.
Yeah. Number 15. Wear a suit to the DMV to speed things along a bit. I don't think that works anymore. Number 16. Do not make jokes about concealing drugs, weapons, or currency in front of police officers or TSA workers. There's nothing funny about being detained. And finally,
I bet she did that to him.
Yeah, probably. And number 17. It's all about tailoring.
I'm not sure what she's talking about.
Tailoring. You know, getting tailored. Tailored suits, tailored everything. It's all about tailoring.
You know this personally?
I kind of make my own clothes.
I'm just curious.
Well, I think I'm done for the evening. I've had enough head trauma.
Are you sure? I could read another comics next for you.
Do you want to? We've been doing this for 2 hours.
No, I'm done. I was being sarcastic. Hit the damn button and let's go.
Aren't you a bit fucking pushy?
What's your point?
Just saying, you're a bit pushy. Well, I can say this. Thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. It's about that time. This has been Army of Snarkness, and I am, of course, Antoine the Great. I have been joined by my wonderful co-host, the Rider of Death, Sarah. And we do hope that you join us again next time. We don't necessarily know what we're doing next week, but I'm sure it's going to be cringy and entertaining. So until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Good night.